Hey, Shalom! Welcome back. Here we are with another edition of our Hebrew directed immersion. We are in Exodus. So we will be continuing today, starting with Exodus chapter 28, verse 18. And I just want to speak a blessing on everyone listening. May your study of the Holy Tongue not be fatiguing, always be exciting. May it indelibly etch itself on your mind and on your neshama, that you may remember in times of trouble, in times of need, and in times of joy, all that you learn from the wonderful language that was used in the creation of the universe. All right, so let's get to it. Let me just realize my stylus. Well, it's good I'm pre-recording. I just had all kinds of issues. Anyway, now we can do it. The hatur, hasheini, nofekh sapir, yahalom. Okay, hatur. So we have and ha, the, ha, sheni. So here we have a noun, and here is its adjective. And in Hebrew, the noun and the adjective should agree. So we have the word tool, which is a masculine singular. We have sheni, which is masculine singular for two. It's definite, ha. We have ha, it's definite. And they're both singular. So hatul, ha sheni. The row, the second. So now the second row, that's what it's saying, is, I should have zoomed in on that again. So I was putting my glasses on. Nofekh. Nofekh. So this is probably turquoise. There's a few suggestions. Ibn Ezra believes it's turquoise, and he references Saidia, who suggests that nofekh could be a reference to something as dark as puch or kol, but this is far-fetched, according to Ibn Ezra. Halot thinks it might be related to Egyptian mifakat. Oh, sorry, my eyes itching. So some kind of semi-precious stone is basically what they're agreeing on, and that might be turquoise or malachite or garnet or a colorless stone. And you get this with a lot of these precious stones. There's a question mark next to them. There was a stage in my life when I was trying to nail them all down exactly, and I wanted to nail down all the ones also in Revelation. And it's in the end, you're going to end up memorizing a range of meanings, which is fine if that's what you want. You really want to know what it is. All right. The next word is sapir. Sapir. Now, sapir, it seems like it's obvious, right? I mean, it seems like a lot of people, they'll say sapphire because look, it sounds like sapphire, right? Though, again, it's not going to be exactly what you think it is. The scholarly opinion today is that it's lapis lazuli. But sapir, there's even two P's in it. Look, even two P's. Just like sapphire has two P's in it, right? But don't get sucked in to the problem of etymology. Sometimes you have a cognate in one language, like that root word or that title goes into another language, and people thought it was something else. They called it something else. The example I love to give is the Jewish Greek drakon, which is in the book of Revelation, but it's also in the apostolic. I mean, it's also in the Hebrew Bible, and there's no dragons in the Hebrew Bible. All right. I mean, in the apocryphal writings, you do have this fake dragon, right? That the false pagan priests pretend is eating stuff, but that's not really Tanakh. And yeah, so usually that maps to something else like Nachash or the serpent or Leviathan or some other things. It's not really a dragon like we think of it. But it's so tempting to just translate dragon because hey, the Greek says drakon. It's got to be dragon, right? Not exactly. So careful, especially with these types of jewels and stuff, not to just get sucked into that. So it's something easier to cut than sapphire, according to Gordon. So we'll go with lapis lazuli. That's a pretty. The modern scholarship is pretty together on that. Okay. The yahalom. The yahalom. So for this one, there's some scholarly discord again. Halot says that it's some kind of precious stone. uh, if you're wanting to find like someone to say it is this thing, then you can go with DCH. That's Klein's, not Klein's, not Rabbi Dr. Klein with a K, but Klein's with a C. Both Jews. I'm talking about the 8-volume Dictionary of Classical Hebrew. In Klein's, he says perhaps onyx, the semi-precious stone in Aaron's breastplate. Right, and here we are. So, although he's of the opinion that the one that we just looked at is sapphire. So it's really hard to get scholarly consensus on some of these ancient gemstones. It's lost to us, and not completely lost because we do have the theories and ideas about it. Oh, I think Ibn Ezra thinks that it was amethyst, and one of the older lexicons, pre-Ugaritic, I think Jasper. I remember I associated the Y with the J. So, so again, there's a whole range. Take your pick: amethyst, jasper. There's onyx and Cupid. I feel like I'm singing the reindeer song again. All right, so that's that. Let's mark at least the conjunction. So here I put the notes up for you if you care to track this word. So Ibn Ezra is going with amethyst, but he also makes an argument. He says that the root of it, halam, is used in Judges to strike. And so he's thinking it might be something like diamond or another very hard precious stone that can be used to cut another one when you strike it. So interesting theory, but I'm not sure that I think if there was more to it, we would have seen something in Ugaritic like this or in the modern scholarship. The Dictionary of Classical Hebrew says perhaps it's onyx with a question mark. And Brown Driver Briggs, which is drawing off Wilhelm Gesenius, says Jasper. All right, so that's that for that one. All right. For sapir, we've got Lapis lazuli, and that's actually halot and DCH are both coming in on that. It's true that DCH does, in a scripture translation in another place, translate as sapphire, but that could have just been some grad student doing a gloss or something. And the older lexicon BDB, Brown Driver Briggs, which again based off Cassinius, translates sapphire or lapis lazuli. So we're getting some good support for lapis lazuli even from an older lexicon. Okay. All right. So next one, we're working backwards here. Ha! I marked on hasheini. That's funny. Hold on. There we go. Better. So for nofekh, both halot and DCH indicate either turquoise or malachite or garnet. So they're agreeing on that. And for an older lexicon, BDB says a precious stone which Tyr gained by trade, perhaps ruby or carbuncle. So I didn't even put ruby down because, man, really? Ruby? So you can see, by the way, it's interesting. Josephus calls it anthrax. I thought that was kind of cool. It's anthrax, really? It was on the breastplate. So I just want to quote for you here from a commentary by Jewish scholar Nahum Sarna. Nahum Sarna. I always just call him Sarnas. Nahum. Anyway, he says the identity of the 12 stones cannot be established with certainty. Okay, three are unique to this very passage and its parallel text, 1039, 10 to 13. So I'm trying to protect you from some of the frustration which I experienced. Just, I want to know, I got to know, I want it perfected, I want to know exactly what I'm reading. In the end, you just have to accept some level of uncertainty here. All right, let's look at verse 19. The hatur hashelishi, and the row the third. Again, noun, adjective. Everybody is playing nice. They are agreeing. Both have a definite article. Yay! Our hero. Hal. Hello, Dave. What are you doing, Dave? No, not that Hal. See? So they're both definite, playing nicely as they should. Go. Both are masculine and both are singular. With a conjunction at the front. All right. And the hatur, the tool, the row, the shelishi, the third one. The row, the third one. So the word is leshem. Leshem. This word only occurs here and twice in Exodus. So it's three times in the entire Hebrew Bible. There's a different leshem in Joshua, but that's considered to be a different word. They're homographs. So leshem is hyacinth, probably. Although some say cornelian. It's another uncertain. Right? A lot of these are very uncertain. So that's right. Hyacinth, or, by the way, that's a logical or sign in case anybody's wondering why I do that. I maybe should have explained that before. Hyacinth or cornelian. This is according to halot, according to hal, or other hal, while DCH says it's Jacinth, or some other precious or semi-precious stone. See, that's a certainty. They add perhaps pale cornelian. I'm not going to write all of that. But, okay. Next, we have Chevaux. Chevaux, which is interesting to me because I have a friend, my dear friend Joshua, over in the UK, whose last name is Shabo. So I wanted to ask if you're watching, Josh, is there any etymology from this word for your name? In Akkadian, there's shubu, a semi-precious stone, but we don't know what it is. Halot thinks it might be agate. Right? So we'll put agate, question mark. Let's do this. That's from Hal. Let's do Hal. We'll just do Hal this time. I'm running out of space, people. I should have done just one verse at a time. I think I was thinking, oh, this is just a bunch of stones. There's not a lot of grammar involved here. We'll just fly through it. But I know some of you are really interested. DCH agrees also that it's probably agate or a variety of quartz. Okay, so we'll say hello and DCH. And that's going to be enough for me for now. Okay. And the last word in the verse, the achlamah. The achlamah. Pardon me. So we had leshem shevo the achlamah. Now this one, let me pick a appropriate color. Do I have brown? Oh, I never found brown. Oh, I got to add that to my to-do list. It's just the colors are not logical. I've just searched through and kind of hack it to find. Hmm. Okay, let's just use lime since we don't have anything like. I know maybe I'll use gray. We'll use gray. It's closer to brown than lime is at least. So halot says that this is an Egyptian loanword, perhaps. In Egyptian, there's excuse me, chanamet, which is red or brown jasper. It's interesting. We're not supposed to duplicate things that were in the temple, right? For non-temple usage. I wonder sometimes if Hashem caused these stones to be lost so that. Well, have you ever seen Raiders of the Lost Ark? Everybody's seen this, right? Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Remember the Nazis? They make their own shoham. They make a breastplate and they dress up their Aryan dude like in, full high priest garb, right? Which is a big no-no. And so you got to wonder, maybe these identities were lost for a reason, just like the Ark was lost. Anyway, so Halot is saying maybe red or brown jasper. Okay. DCH says amethyst, which is actually close to what the Greek says. And then they add or jasper, or some similar precious or semi-precious stone. But we'll go with their main pick. That's DCH's role in the game. Oops. And it's interesting that DCH would do that because in their methodology, they do not consider cognate languages, right? So the big scholarly influence that Halat and then eventually Halot have is that they look at Old Southern Arabic, they look at various forms of Aramaic, right? They look at Egyptian and Coptic and other languages in the region and how did they use the word and Ugaritic, right? Which has a lot of value. But Klein's, the Dictionary of Classical Hebrew, DCH, they believe that only Hebrew should describe Hebrew. So instead, they will use other phases of the language, like rabbinical Hebrew, right, or um, post-biblical Hebrew. Actually not so much rabbinical, but they'll use everything up into yeah, I misspoke there. They use everything up into the Dead Sea Scrolls period to justify anything that's engraved on a monument or anything like that from various dialects of the language. But they don't want to use other languages. So it's interesting to me that DCH would write amethyst because the Septuagint translates amethustos. What do you think that sounds like? Amethustos. Maybe I'll just write it. Amethustos. And so if DCH really isn't looking at other languages, that's kind of a ding, 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 ding moment. I think we might have a winner there. All right. All right. Continuing on. Verse 20. V'hatuhu ha'revi'i tarshish v'shoham yashfeih. All right. And the row, the fourth one, all the same characteristics as above. So I'm not going to copy that all down. I think you can see it. Is Tarshish. Tarshish. What in the world is Tarshish other than make you think of Paul, maybe? So this one might be topaz. Topaz, according to Halot. Now DCH says maybe beryl. I don't even know what that is. I've heard it before, but actually it says topaz or perhaps beryl. Let's go with their number one. With topaz, that at least agrees with Halot. Hope this is interesting to you guys. If not, give me feedback, and maybe next time we can skip these parts and just go to stuff where there's interesting grammar stuff happening. Okay. The shoham. Now, shoham, I think when I first learned that, I think I learned that one as onyx from Jacinth. My bar mitzvah rabbi had recommended Jacinth primarily because it's cheap and is pretty decent for pre-ugaritic. Now, Halot says it's some kind of bright green stone and offers three possible translations. So, yeah, this is another example of, question mark on this guy. I want to check to see if I'm remembering Jacinth correctly. I don't know what. Oh, yes. Gesenius says sardonyx or onyx. What color? Let's do yellow. Obviously, you don't have to remember all of these. DCH says onyx or some similar precious stone found in the land of Havilah. Interesting. So is onyx found in the Philippines, I wonder? Asking for the God culture people. I'm curious. That's a open-minded challenge. Is onyx something found in abundance in the Philippines? Because the God culture channel says that the Philippines is one of those ancient places. All right, let's see. So good, we have also DCH. Let's not get into the halot paragraphs searching what it can be. And yashfeih. What is this one? So let me change our color. We have another jasper. So jasper, according to halot, how many jaspers can we have? And also DCH agrees, perhaps jasper. Or perhaps some kind of quartz says. All right. Continuing, meshubatzim. Yay, finally some grammar stuff to talk about. This is a pu'al participle, plural, masculine or common, plural. The root being shabatz. One of the characteristics of the pu'al, similar to pl, in the participle form, you're going to get a mem prefix to it, and the second root letter, the second verbal root, is going to have a strong dagesh. So I've kind of outlined the root here. Shabbats. What do you have if you have more than one Sabbath? More than one Shabbat, you get Shabbats. And kind of the ancient meaning of this word is something like to do with mixing. But looky here. So here we have we're prefixing a mem to it. This is part of the pattern. And it's got a strong dagesh in the middle. Okay, so we just had these rows of stones, and now they're being described that they are set. They are meshubatzim. They are set. a jeweler term. Set, presumably in zahav, gold. Yihu, they shall be bemiluotam, in the settings of them, of bemiluotam. So the that's there. And then the bait, that's our in. Yihu, that's from the verb haya. The yod tells you it's third person, and the u tells us it's plural. So they. And if you're curious, the root over here, the mem, the lamed, and the aleph, it's malay, like malay chesed ve'emet, like being full of, right? So it makes sense that you have this noun, a setting, miluah, and then the tav makes it construct. So setting of them, settings of them. And in this case, it's construct plural, miluot. So one more time through verse 20. The hatur, revi'i, tarshish shoham, yashfeih, משובצים זהב, יהיו במילואותם. There's our siluhu. Kind of hard to see the sof pasuk right there. Okay, I hope that was okay for you guys. It's not always deep theology. Sometimes it's just interesting to see the mystery, how little we know about certain things. And I hope that you guys, like me, enjoy digging and going deep on those things and finding really what we could. There's an interesting comment from Ibn Ezra I wanted to share, and also from Rashi. Rashi says, the rows shall be framed with gold in their mountings, literally their fillings, right? That's the last word. Miluotam. That is, the gold frame shall be exactly deep enough so that they are totally filled by the thickness of the stones. No more and no less. That's kind of neat, right? And maybe I'll leave Ibn Ezra out of it. There's a lot to say there, and I'm not sure if I will lose you guys. Okay, keep up with your Hebrew. I will see you guys tomorrow for our study in the prophets. Shalom, shalom. Oh, and as always, if you like to contribute to what we're doing here, there it is. I'm not sure why it's the wrong size. That's a little bizarre, but that's fine. Well, maybe because we had some resolution issues. Here's my Patreon account on the bottom. You could always join us over at patreon.com/Hebrew literacy or using the Patreon app, and you could sign up for monthly donation. That would really help our ministry and what we do here. Or if you want to give one-time gift, head on over to paypal.me, not paypal.com, paypal.me/Hebrew literacy, and you could send us something there. Please select for friends and family so that there's not an exorbitant extra 5 to 6% taken out. They really hammer us on the conversion, all these things coming over from. And if you're in the Philippines, you could always send via PayMaya. Just send it to @Hebrew. It's just one word. The user ID is @Hebrew, and we'll get that. If you don't have to send, then please at least pray for what we're doing. The prayer can be very effective, and we much appreciate it. Shalom, shalom.